Raw Takes and Company. Andrew Hody with Matthias Sandahar and Jake Malensik. We're back from a week hiatus. We did have some technical difficulties last week. We did try to get the podcast up, but that did not happen. But we're here this week, and all three of us are back in one place, and I got a goofy hat on again, and I'm sure Jake's got a word for it. What's up, gentlemen? How we doing tonight?
I'm good. I will say I like this hat better than the last
Oh,
one.
you like it better than the turkey hat?
Definitely.
You like my Mickey Santa Claus hat better than the silly turkey?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Um,
I don't think Matthias was here for the episode where you wore the turkey hat, so he didn't have to deal with looking at it for an hour and a half. He just had to, unless he rewatched the pod, which he
I
might
watched
have.
it.
Yeah, I had to face it the whole day, and I had to keep my serious face on.
Yeah, you did great. Great
Thank you.
podcast, just like all the other ones.
They're all great.
Alrighty, it's Raw Takes and Company. Hope everyone had a great week. Like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on social media. You see all of our social media account links below. We have our official account links, but you can also see where you can find us on Instagram and X and all the good stuff. So feel free
Don't
to
follow
check
me
us
on
out.
Instagram. I don't post. You're wasting your time.
All right, we're going to get right to it here. We're going to start with the NFL headlines for the week. It's going to be a little bit of a truncated edition of Raw Takes and Co. because of the holidays, so let's get right to it. All right, let's start things off with the Seahawks and Rams, possibly the game of the year. The Seahawks now in the driver's seat for the number one seed in the NFC, and I know there's been so much talk about the Rams. It's possible the Rams might not even have a home playoff game and may have to play on the road if they want to get to the Super Bowl. So, what a game by the Seattle Seahawks. Uh, Overall, though, the Rams pretty much played perfect the whole time. What was it, like almost 500 yards of offense, and Puka Nacua went off. Matthew Stafford threw for over 450 yards. But Sam Darnold, even though he turned the ball over twice, the Seahawks are the better team, probably with some of the best 2 point conversions I have ever seen in my entire life. Matthias, you have the floor to start things off on what may be the game of the year. I thought this game was awesome. And I'll also say it has caused me to buy into Seattle even more. I was kind of shaky with Seattle, but I think this game proved that they are the real deal. Matthias, go ahead.
Yeah, this proved more than anything that last week against the Philip Rivers led Colts, that was more so of a trap game than anything. They were not looking at the Colts as an actual opponent because they were preparing for this game. And we talked about it last time when these two teams faced off. I said that it was a win for both teams because it was their defense playing really well, the Seahawks, but at the same time, their offense wasn't good, but it was still a close game. So you just kind of had to roll with the punches there. But now you have a thing where both teams have split the series. The Rams beat the Seahawks only by 2, and this time the Seahawks beat the Rams only by 1. With, like what you said, one of probably the most improbable 2 point conversion I've seen. Like it being ruled as a backwards pass, and then Charbonnet with the accidental knowledge to just grab the ball while it was in the end zone, and like that's how they won, or that's how they were able to force into overtime. And then in overtime, just JSN being JSN, Sam Darnold, despite his turnovers, still able to capitalize on it. This is why the NFC, or this just shows that the NFC is just a bloodbath. Like whoever wins that, I think, is going to have a really good competition in the Super Bowl, and they might have the way to win it, at least in my opinion. Sorry, Jake, for taking all the time.
No, you're good. I don't have a lot to add. Um, awesome quarterback play in this game, both sides. I almost call him Sam Bradford because that's what they did on the broadcast. Sam Darnold, really nice throws in the fourth quarter and overtime to ice it. Matt Stafford is awesome. Puka Nacua, awesome. Like you said, JSN. Just the show, all of the players that you would have wanted to show up under the lights on primetime showed up, and that's what made the game great. And there wasn't actually a bad referee decision or there was that. I mean, that 2 point conversion play was weird, but it was the right call. So it was just the perfect game in the sense that the players determined the outcome and it was the star players that determined the outcome.
Yeah, unfortunately, Puka would disagree with you on that, like he did on Twitter. But
Yeah, he
yeah,
wasn't a fan.
definitely wasn't.
All right. Up
Interesting,
next.
not an interesting week for Puka Nacua. We'll put it at that.
All righty. Let's move on. Suspension coming down on DK Metcalf after an altercation with a fan. And the Pittsburgh Steelers still came away with the victory, though, 29-24 over the Detroit Lions. I'll say this. I think the Steelers are pretty much going to win the AFC North. I think Mike Tomlin reached 200. No, I think he did reach 200 wins with the win there. Impressive stat for Mike Tomlin. 19 seasons consecutively, no losing record, yet Steeler fans still want him gone. I'd leave that to Matthias. But nevertheless,
They should.
what a win by the Steelers. The Detroit Lions, I really think injuries are coming down to why they're a marginal team this year. I still think they're probably going to win another game down the stretch against either Minnesota or Chicago, but other than that, I think the Lions season has come to a close. But they have a lot to build upon from where they are as long as they can get healthy. But I'll leave the floor open to you guys. The DK Metcalf thing, obviously a big deal, but I think it might not matter in the long run, seeing I think the Steelers are in pretty good hands to win the North. Who wants to
Go ahead,
start?
Jake. I started last time.
Don't have a lot here. If you're a professional football player, don't punch a fan. Don't go into the stands. Don't do any of that. You kind of just have to be better. We as fans, that's my PSA. Let's be a little nicer, especially if you're sitting where that guy's sitting. I don't have the money to spend to sit that close. So when I'm yelling from the 500 section, they probably can't hear me. So, if you're going to sit that close, be nice. You can be mean to the Steeler player, but don't say bad things that are going to make him punch you in the face. If you're DK, don't punch him in the face. For the Steelers, I don't know, man. I don't know why they're so good. I never understand it, but they're probably going to win the North if they just take care of Shador Sanders next week. So I mean,
They
it's
do
right
win the
there in
North
front of
if
them.
they take care of Shador Sanders and the Browns next week. It's done because Baltimore lost. So
That's what I'm saying. All they got to do
yeah,
is beat
they
the
got to just
Browns.
win one more game.
All they got to do.
Hmm. Go
You'd
ahead,
like to think
Matthias.
they can do it. Matthias,
So first off, I
Lions are
think
dead, by the way.
first off, I think it's less so on injuries and more so on coaching for the Lions. Like they had a little bit of a spurt when Campbell took over play calling, but then after that, it was just falling back down to earth. The continual fourth down conversions have been hurting them more than it's helping them, and yeah, they really miss Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson has been making lightning in the bottle over at Chicago. So yeah, like really good. I mean, this just shows like the importance of coordinators because we talked about like coaching most of this season. So like might as well add in coordinators to that because yeah, they have played a big role. Um, on top of that, this is the most fluke Steelers win that you will like. If you look up Steelers football, it will be that game because they should not have won that game, and somehow they did.
They have 5 of those
Yeah.
every single season. There's about 5.
So yeah, just
And they every single time it goes the Steelers' way. It's mind-boggling.
it is. It's insane. But yeah, so that's my 2 cents on this game. Just congrats to the Steelers for winning. I'm happy as a fan, but as somebody who needed the Lions to win, I am not happy.
All righty. Up next, we have, speaking of the Bears and Ben Johnson, what a game for the Green Bay Packers. Well, I shouldn't say the
Are
Green Bay
our
Packers,
Bears.
the Chicago Bears pulling off a big win over the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, concussion protocol. Hope he's doing okay. Hope he has a speedy recovery. Caleb Williams with a spectacular throw in overtime. You guys know I've never been a big Caleb Williams fan, but I got to give credit where credit is due. A right play at the right time. Obviously, the onside kick. Ben Johnson, coach of the year. I think we could pretty much lock it in. I think Liam Cohen makes a great case too, but to me, Ben Johnson turning around the Bears as quickly as they have. At least the Jaguars did have at least a quarterback who somewhat has proven himself. Obviously, Caleb Williams proving himself more and more now. I'm still not a huge fan of Caleb Williams, but I have to admit that throw in overtime to seal the deal was tremendous. And the Bears making a statement against Green Bay, it's going to be really hard for them to not win the North now in the NFC. What do you guys think?
I think it is up to the Bears to mess up for them to lose the North because you finally beat a rival. And even last time that you lost, it was because it came down to a last second play. So you kind of have the Green Bay's number at this point. But one thing I do want to shout out is Malik Willis. With Jordan Love going down with injury, Malik Willis stepped in. The offense changed for him, and he went 9 for 11, 121 yards, and threw a touchdown. And Romeo Dobbs, 5 receptions, 84 yards for that touchdown. And yeah, just that offense. I won't say it didn't look like it wasn't skipping a beat. You could definitely tell like Malik Willis isn't Jordan Love, but like he did play that backup role really well. But yeah, that's at least my perspective on the Green Bay side of it.
Okay,
I
Jacob.
I just kind of want to piggyback off the Malik Willis thing. I really respect franchises and teams who make an effort to have a good backup quarterback. We talk about Davis Mills a lot when he was playing. You've got Malik Willis. I really appreciate teams who go out of their way to make sure they have a good backup quarterback because there are a lot of teams who don't, and there are a lot of teams who just say, we'll just throw somebody out there and see what happens. And when you don't do that, you can run into situations where if Malik Willis had to play next week, I don't think that you as a Packers fan, you're like, shoot, we're probably going to lose. Like you feel like you have a chance. I thought Malik played well. I've always been a Malik Willis fan. So that's really my take is I really respect teams that sign backup quarterbacks that are worthwhile and like aren't the worst player ever. Like they don't have to sign Phillip Rivers off the street because their quarterback situation is a mess.
Alrighty. This one we don't have to touch on too much because the game was kind of pointless. It was Philadelphia and Washington. The big thing here, though, is some history. The Eagles have broken the NFC East's trend of repeating division winners for the first time since 2001 through 2004, when they themselves repeated the division title 3 years in a row. It's been a different division winner every single season since 2004. We were all kids the last time there was a repeat division winner in the NFC East. 2004 literally was the last year that that happened. So for me, I think that that was an impressive feat for the Eagles. In terms of the game, though, I didn't see too much here. I think it was to be expected. If I'm the Eagles, I mean, even though you're probably fighting for the bye, you could make a case that resting some players might be key if you're just looking to get a home playoff game at this point because you already got it. But nevertheless, who knows? It still looks like it's going to be really hard for the Eagles to get the 1 seed, and I have a lot of drama, so I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl this year. But nevertheless, interesting things to think about it for Philadelphia. I'll leave the floor open to you guys and whatever you want to talk about. You could talk about the game with Washington, the history, or even if the Eagles should make some player personnel changes just these last 2 weeks.
I think you have to pretend to go for it,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what I mean. Like you're not going to get the number 1 seed, but you don't want to give the impression that you're going to give up trying.
Yeah.
That kind of makes it that's a bad message to send to your fan base and to your players that you're not even going to try. So I do agree with you that it's unlikely and it might make more sense. They're certainly going to do it in week 18 if they don't have a chance, but the culture that you don't want to build the culture of we're going to give up with 2 weeks to go because the odds aren't in our favor. You know who didn't give up when the odds were in her favor? Katniss Everdeen, and she won the Hunger Games. So you never know what's going to happen.
Go ahead, Matthias.
Yeah,
You didn't think that reference was dropping on you there, did you?
no, not
Hunger
today.
Games reference today.
But yeah, I think more so just kind of just talking about first for Philly, I kind of agree with you, Jake. Like I think they should at least try for this week. And then if like there's like a 1% chance of them getting it, like just rest your players. Like at this point, there's already so much animosity between everyone. Just let everyone cool off, wait until the playoffs, and then tackle those problems there or nip it in the butt at that week 18 before. Like, yeah, like get it done in the regular season.
Alrighty, moving on to the Patriots game and the Ravens game really quickly. Big thing here, Lamar Jackson went down. I believe it was a back injury, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
It was a back injury. Okay. Hopefully Lamar gets a speedy recovery here and he's back on the field soon for the Ravens. However, that might be a big thing for the Ravens' last 2 games here. Like we mentioned earlier, I'm pretty confident Pittsburgh's winning the North at this point, but Lamar Jackson did make some strides in the game early on. Tyler Huntley played decently to start, but obviously New England taking over in Baltimore, getting the win over the Ravens. New England is still in the driver's seat in the AFC East. I think we need to mention that as well. So Buffalo might have to play on the road, and Josh Allen has not won a road playoff game yet. So that might be big for Buffalo because all the talk is Buffalo this is the year for Buffalo if there's ever going to be a year with the current playoff situation. But nevertheless, I won't get into that right now. Speaking of this game, New England getting the job done, but Lamar Jackson going down, that's going to be big for the Ravens' last two games here. What do you guys think of this situation? They do have to play Pittsburgh to end the year, which could possibly be for a division title, but unlikely, especially seeing the Steelers have Cleveland next.
I think the biggest issue with this game was that the Ravens had the lead going late into the fourth, and they ran the ball in with Derrick Henry for the touchdown with about 7 minutes left in the game, and that was the last time Derrick Henry got the ball.
9 minutes and 5 seconds. I just pulled it up. They were up 11.
Thank you. And this is just constantly Ravens football where I say oh, everything somehow happens good for the Steelers and they get 5 of those wins. Everything bad has gone for the Ravens for the past 3-4 years, where they just blow leads like no tomorrow, where we say any given Sunday, it's just watching the Ravens and they are up by 20 or something, and then 5 minutes later they're down by 3. I think that was literally the first game of the year against the Bills.
Yeah. So there's some scores here that I was going to read.
Yeah, you had the screenshot that I was looking for.
Yeah. So this week, 24-13 with 9 minutes left, they lost. Week 1 against Buffalo, 41-25 with 11 minutes and 43 seconds left, loss. 2 seasons ago against the Browns, 24-9 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, loss. 19-10 against Jacksonville with 5 minutes and 57 seconds left, loss. 35-14 against Miami with 12 minutes left, loss. That can't keep happening. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, especially
every time they get a double-digit lead, their fan base immediately says, we've lost. And that's not a place you want to be. My friend who's a Ravens fan texted me as soon as they went up 2 scores and said, Patriots have us right where they want us. And they lost.
Well,
yeah,
you also have to factor in the fact the Ravens have made the playoffs the last couple seasons and have won playoff games. So I know a lot of people are saying John Harbaugh needs to be fired. I disagree, but we'll talk about that in a little bit because we have my Jacksonville Jaguars making a statement in the Mile High City against Denver. Small market, baby. Small market.
That was a ridiculous thing to say. Imagine just giving the team bulletin board. You've given them the easiest bulletin board material of all time.
Sean Payton's good
as a small market city
material, to be quite honest with you. As great as Sean Payton is, he gives out a lot of bulletin board material.
It's unbelievable that you would just say that.
Well, remember what he said about Nathaniel Hackett a few years back with the Broncos situation, and then the Jets beat the Broncos immediately with Sean Payton. Sean Payton has a tendency to give out some bulletin board material. But having said that,
great game for your Jaguars, though.
It is a great game for the Jags. And I think Trevor Lawrence made a statement. Last week I said he made a statement against the Jets. We were looking for that game. Well, he just did it against the Denver Broncos. I mean, that's not the New York Jets. He just made a statement against the Denver Broncos. And you could argue he did it against Kansas City, but Kansas City's out of the playoffs now, so who knows if that was the statement that they needed to make. This statement in the Mile High City, I think, is huge for the Jaguars. And heck, that could make them the number 1 seed, possibly. I'm not saying they're going to be the number 1 seed. I don't think they will be. I think New England's probably the favorite there. But what do you guys think of this overall? I know Jake just talked a little bit about it. So, Matthias, go ahead. Bo Nix, he didn't play horrible, but he did make some critical mistakes. And I think the concerns about Bo Nix certainly showed against Jacksonville. And the Jags defense was really good in that game. I think we got to point that out, too.
So, here's the thing. Like I've been saying all season about Bo, you either get Brett Favre or me. And there's no in between. just to read off some stats for Jacksonville, they had 265 passing yards, 346 total yards, 5.1 yards per play, and 81 rushing yards. And Denver beat them yards-wise in all of those categories, and they still only scored 20.
It's not great.
No,
Yeah, like this is what I've been worried about for Bo Nix. He had 352 yards and only one touchdown. Like that's unacceptable. Like it's literally can the defense hold the team to 17, and if they don't, then oops, we lost.
Not our recipe for success.
However, I will say this: like San Francisco, I think we're not talking about enough at 10-4. Are we talking about the Jaguars enough at 10-4? I don't think so at all.
Nope.
Or no, is it 11-4 now?
It might be 11-4.
I think it's
They're 11-4 now.
Yeah.
They just beat Denver.
Pardon me. Yeah,
Yeah.
11-4.
We're definitely not talking
about the
enough.
Jaguars enough. The Jaguars receiving core is a lot better than they were last year. Their defense is a lot better. Travis Etienne has been unbelievable.
Much better.
I really personally think, like I said earlier this year, even when the Jaguars were starting off okay, I said like this is going to be a bounce back year for Jacksonville, and that Doug Peterson was the problem. And I think we're starting to see that because Liam Cohen seems to know what the hell he's doing. I will say that right off the rip. Another Coach of the Year candidate that I don't think we're talking about enough because of how well Ben Johnson is doing. All right. Before we go on to one sentence, one pick, I just wanted to kind of throw this out here just so we could debate this. Matt Nagy, two-time Super Bowl champion the last few years with the Kansas City Chiefs. Should he be fired by the Kansas City Chiefs?
Matt Nagy, the guy that went to Chicago and did absolutely nothing.
He's the offensive coordinator there. I would say yes, because that offense was a disaster the past 2 seasons. And I don't care that they went to the Super Bowl because that is a not good offense. The thing, and Matthias, said this pre-show, we as Browns fans have a different perspective on what we want from our coach. There's levels to this. If you're the Chiefs, your ceiling isn't, oh, we played good today, but we lost. Your ceiling is number 1 overall seed, Super Bowl champions. So when you don't reach that, changes need to be made. We're going to talk about Harbaugh, and he's in the same boat. We'll get to that when we get to that, but there's levels to team ceilings.
I'll say this too, but there's also calls for Andy Reid to be fired.
That is egregious. That one I don't understand.
I still think Matt Nagy is a pretty good offensive coordinator, and I think Mahomes has made the right plays at the right time for the most part the last couple seasons.
I could be a good offensive coordinator if I had Patrick Mahomes. I need to be a great offensive coordinator with Patrick Mahomes. That's the difference.
But still, I think it's pretty ridiculous.
My offense would be pat throw ball.
I get it.
But he doesn't have receivers to throw the ball to, so a little bit tough. I get it. I understand what you're saying there because it's like, is it Matt Nagy's fault? I don't know. Maybe not. But also, like, maybe. Because, like, their offense has been bad for 4 years now, 3 years now, since Hill left.
Yeah.
Let's flip it to John Harbaugh, and then let's let Matthias
fire him
too.
yesterday.
No, John Harbaugh should not be on.
He is a overrated, washed, past his prime head coach.
Talk for me, Jake.
He's won a bunch of playoff games the last few years.
I don't care because
he's won 2. He's won 2, but still, he's won playoffs.
This is not
more than Mike Tomlin.
His roster is not win one playoff game and then call it a successful season. You have Lamar Jackson with a phenomenal defense. You should not be winning one playoff game and pretending that you should keep your job. You need to go to the Super Bowl. You remember when the Cavs fired David Blatt in the middle of the 2016 season? Because their ceiling was the championship.
It was still a dumb move, and Tyronn Lue.
They won the NBA title with Tyronn Lue.
But when the Cavs fired Tyronn Lue after an 0-6 start, I mean, the NBA is different with how you fire coaches.
But my point is that if the coach is not doing what he needs to do with the roster, you need to get rid of him. And John Harbaugh has been holding the Ravens back for Lamar Jackson's whole tenure, because the fact that this team has not made the Super Bowl yet with this roster, with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and the defense that they should have is unbelievable.
The Ravens defense, in particular the last 2 years, hasn't been very good.
Yeah, there's also
losing McDonald was a big part of it.
Well, losing Mike McDonald was a big part of it. And that's why I think you also have to consider that John Harbaugh is getting carried by coordinators, because this man is not a good coach. Ravens fans have been calling for him to get fired for 3 seasons because winning one playoff game isn't going to cut it. It's different for us because we're Browns fans. So when we win one playoff game, we're ecstatic because we don't have a Super Bowl roster. They have a
You're gonna have
Super Bowl
things get a
roster.
lot worse if you fire John Harbaugh and you bring in some rookie. I'm just saying.
That's what a rebuild
John
is
Harbaugh
called.
should not.
That's
But
what a
why should the
rebuild
Ravens
is.
rebuild?
Why should the Ravens
Why should
hold
the Ravens
themselves
rebuild?
back
The Ravens
when they
have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and
they're losing? They are
They have Mark
7-8
Andrews at
with
tight end.
Lamar Jackson. That's the point. They
That's the
suck.
point. You have had a constant
And
MVP
injuries this
candidate,
year.
one of the
You
best
have
running
a
backs of
two-time
all time.
two-time
And you have
MVP.
done nothing. A conference championship in which you lost? You can't even beat the Bills, and the Bills haven't even beaten the Chiefs. So what's your point in even trying to beat them? Like, you have one of the most special quarterbacks in the league, and you have not been able to do squat with it. And we have seen this all the way since since Greg Roman was there. It was literally coined a Greg Roman offense because they would get a lead, get conservative, and then blow the lead. And then guess what? They fired him because they thought it was a coordinator job. Guess what we saw against New England? They had a lead, got conservative, blew the lead. So it is a coaching thing. It is the head coach's job to say, hey, we have the lead, don't let go. And multiple times with an MVP candidate, almost every year, they blow it. And if it's not in the regular season, it's in the playoffs. And if your goal is to win a Super Bowl and you haven't done that, then something needs to change.
Okay, well,
they are fundamentally flawed from top to bottom.
Andy Reid has a losing season guaranteed right now. I want to say that.
Andy Reid is a much different case because
calling
he's
for
not
Andy
been
Reid's
holding his
job.
team
You're
back.
ridiculous. You're ridiculous if you're calling for.
I didn't say anything about Andy Reid. I agree.
I know.
With you.
I agree with you, Jake. There, but also John Harbaugh. He has a great track record. He's only had 2 losing seasons his whole career.
Dude, if you keep talking
plenty
about
of playoff wins. He has more playoff wins than Mike
Nobody
Tomlin.
cares about 4 playoff wins in 10 years as a head coach.
He has more playoff wins than Mike Tomlin. I don't care.
Mike Tomlin should also be fired.
The Ravens have a higher chance of getting worse. Okay? When the Ravens fired Brian Billick in 2007, at least the Ravens weren't doing squat for a long time. This time around, John Harbaugh has been productive. One bad season, I don't think you fire the guy over.
This is not one bad season. He's had Lamar
Jackson
since 2018 and have 3 playoff wins. There was a point in time. Baker Mayfield had more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson until about 2 seasons ago. Because this team is fundamentally flawed.
3 wins. They have 3 playoff wins. The Ravens do.
Yeah, so. Baker Mayfield has 2.
Yeah,
and one of them was with the Browns.
It's better than Deshaun Watson. I mean.
But you're not understanding the point. They have Lamar Jackson. He has 3 playoff wins because he's got one of the most overrated head coaches in the entire league, who is burning one of the best rosters in the whole NFL.
Multiple years.
He's holding a team back that should be much better than it is. And they're not going to fire him because they don't have the balls to do it. Because of everything that you just said, because of his track record and because he wins, they're not going to fire him.
Well, the Ravens and the Steelers, the reason they have stayed good as long as they have is because of organizational stability.
They've stayed incredibly mid for 10 years and haven't reached.
The Ravens have won playoff games and have gone to the conference.
If you tell me that they've won playoff games one more time, I don't. That doesn't matter.
They came
Nobody
close.
cares.
And I'll tell you what, if you win in the playoffs consistently, like the Ravens have, more so than the Steelers, I may add. And the Steelers, they might host the home playoff.
Tomlin should also be fired.
You're arguing with another head coach that needs to get fired.
Okay, you're comparing fired. Who the Steelers going to hire?
You're comparing
the Ravens going to hire that do better. Who are the Steelers and the Ravens going to hire that do better? Who are the Chiefs going to hire that do better than Andy Reid? Like,
stop bringing up the
ridiculous.
Chiefs.
Stop bringing up the
why is the Chiefs fans that want Andy Reid fired?
I'm not telling them that. I'm not agreeing with them. They obviously don't want Andy Reid to get fired.
They've won 2 Super Bowls. Like,
they obviously don't want him fired. They're irrationally angry because they're having the worst season they've had in 10 years. They are allowed to cope a little bit and get upset. They obviously don't want him fired.
The Browns only have a good season like every 15 years. And We're used to it here.
Well, I'm sorry, Andrew.
Right,
Not
that's the
everyone, not
point,
Going
is
to
everyone
that
the
we're used to
playoffs is
it.
like winning the
proud.
Super Bowl in Cleveland. So I don't.
Exactly. That's what I'm
don't.
trying. That's what I've been
just.
trying to tell you for the last 10 minutes.
That's what
You
we've
know
been
what?
trying to tell you for the
Baltimore
past 3
winning a
weeks.
playoff game doesn't mean anything. They do not care if they don't win the Super Bowl. It's like the Yankees. If it's not a World Series, the season is a failure. It's the same thing in Baltimore. If they don't win it all,
Baseball
they
is
don't
not
care.
football, though. So I don't want to hear a Yankees
Stop.
comparison or an NBA comparison. In
You're
football,
not,
you
it's
got to
not an NBA
consistently make the
comparison, Andrew.
playoffs. If
It's
you're
that if they
consistently
don't win the
making the
Super Bowl, their
playoffs,
season is a failure, and they haven't won it in 12 years
All right,
with
you're
Lamar
consistently making the
Jackson.
playoffs. Okay,
let's
we're
put
going
it
to move
like this.
on. We got one sentence.
Nobody cares about the playoffs in Baltimore, I promise you.
Super Bowl. You're going to lose in the playoffs.
They haven't won a
Okay.
Super Bowl. That's what I've tried to tell you.
Well, they did
Let's
in
They haven't won it. Yeah,
2012.
they haven't
John
won it in a
Harbaugh's
long
a Super
time.
Bowl champion. His brother's doing a heck
Yeah,
of a job.
they
as the
won a
Chargers
Super Bowl
do.
championship when I was in 5th grade.
I want to let everybody know on this podcast and anyone watching, if John Harbaugh is fired by the Ravens or Mike Tomlin is fired by the Steelers, both of them will have other head coaching jobs, and both
Congrats to them.
franchises might get
I'm
a
not
lot
disagreeing
worse.
with you.
A lot
Andrew,
worse.
not every year is a Super Bowl year.
All right, let's move on to one sentence, one pick, because obviously we're going to have some disagreements on the coaching thing, and that's all right. But we're just expressing opinions. That's what we're about. We disagree. If you have any thoughts on the coaching stuff, feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear from you. I know I love DK Metcalf's out there, probably listening, and I know he's a
He
Steeler.
probably wants Mike Tomlin fired too if he knows what he's doing.
If he knows what he's talking about, he'd want Mike Tomlin fired.
Well, I know what I'm talking about, and I think Mike Tomlin should be the Steelers coach until he retires. This is this week's slate. Let's go to the last couple
And
weeks.
that's why they're never going to win anything for the
Because
next
San Francisco
decade
and
and a half.
Indianapolis are still playing as we're recording this. We don't have that game listed off here yet. But this week, I was the champion. 13 picks correct. Matthias and Jake, you both had 11 picks correct. However, obviously, the totals, and this was the week before, Jake and I tied. But the totals right now, I am in second place. Matthias is in last, and Jake is in first. So we are going
Matthias is going to have to make a miracle happen.
Yeah, I'm going to need
I'm
a
also going to
miracle.
have to hold you off because you're getting really close.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm playing for second.
Let's go. Jake wants to blow his lead. Let's see if he does. All right.
Crazy.
All right, let's get things started, though, with one sentence, one pick. We'll do this quickly because we talked a lot about firing coaches in the NFL. Dallas at Washington. We'll start things off on Christmas Day. Want to mix it up and have me go with the pick first, and then I'll let you guys go?
It's up to you.
Realistically, I should pick first because I'm in first, and you two actually have something to battle for, but
All right, go ahead,
it
Jake.
doesn't matter. I'm going to take Dallas. Matthias, go ahead.
I got Dallas as well. My comment last week was I believe in Super Mariota, and this week is I'm sad he's out.
I shouldn't have taken Washington last week.
I'm taking the Cowboys this week. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Commanders. The reason I am is just because Dallas isn't playing for anything either, and it's at home. I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders pull off the upset here.
Get that checkbook ready, kid.
All right, Detroit and Minnesota. Let's go with Matthias first here.
I got Detroit. Pride.
Jake, go ahead.
Is JJ McCarthy playing?
I think so.
Because I know he got hurt last week. Give me the Vikings. The Lions are so dejected. I think I think that they're done. Like I think they're kind of just not feeling it.
So you're taking the Vikings?
Yeah, I think they're going to be punchless. Yeah, give me the Vikings.
I'm also going to take the Vikings. I wanted to say the Detroit Lions probably should win one more game because I think they're decent. But honestly, I think the injuries are just too much, and they're not really playing for much outside of maybe hoping Green Bay loses the last two games. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here as well. Denver at Kansas City. This slate should have been a lot better because of what we expected of all these teams, but it certainly isn't on Christmas Day. Matthias, go ahead and with your pick first.
I got Denver. They're fighting for the number 1 seed.
All right, Jake.
Denver, because I think Kansas City is starting Shane Buechele at quarterback.
I'm
SMU
also taking
is.
the Broncos. The Broncos need to win this game, and I think we are going to see the Chargers-Broncos game at the end of the season possibly be the game that determines the number 1 seed, or at least who wins the NFC West and gets a home playoff game. And I think Denver's going to have to win because they have a quarterback that isn't. I mean, the Kansas City has a quarterback that none of us have ever even heard of. All right, Houston at the Chargers.
I've
Okay,
heard of
Jake's
him.
heard of him. Jake's heard of him.
Shane Buechele, SMU.
All right.
He is SMU.
Houston at the Chargers. This game is actually pretty interesting to me because I honestly think these teams are pretty evenly matched. Jake, go ahead to start off.
LA at home. That's all I got.
All right, Matthias.
On a short-ish week.
I got Houston.
Ooh.
LA has no home games.
That's a good point.
The Texans are such a new franchise, though. But I guess the Oilers fan base might have moved on and assimilated to being Texans fans. I like Houston. You guys know I like them a lot. They've been fun to watch the last few weeks. I love their defense. I love Will Anderson. I love C.J. Stroud, the Buckeye. But I'm taking the Chargers here just because I think the Chargers need to win a little bit more. I think Houston is comfortable being the wild card in per se. I think, but to me, I just trust the Chargers more in this situation, so I'll go with LA. Baltimore and Green Bay, backup quarterback versus backup quarterback is likely here, seeing the injury report so far with the QBs. Matthias, go ahead and start off.
Don't steal my bit. You're gonna steal my bit, so that's
I,
next. You can do it. It's okay.
I don't even know which team I'm choosing, let alone stealing a bit.
Okay.
I got Green Bay. Malik Willis is better than All-Star Snoop Huntley.
All right, Jake, go ahead.
I'm taking Green Bay. Baltimore gets up about 13 in the third quarter, and you know the rest.
Yep.
I'm taking the Packers as well. I like what I saw from Malik Willis against the Bears.
I like Malik Willis too.
Yeah, I like what I saw from him. So if he's the backup, I trust him more than I trust Tyler Huntley right now to run the offense. Seattle at Carolina. This game could be actually pretty interesting. Matthias, you could go ahead as the resident Seahawk fan here.
I've got Seattle. They have just as much to lose as Carolina.
Jake, go ahead.
Seattle wins. Carolina covers 7.5.
I'm actually taking the Panthers here. The reason is because I think Seattle. I think the NFL wants the Rams to be the 1 seed or to win the division. I don't know. I don't see Seattle.
Feel like it the other night.
I know I was. Seattle could still win the division. Oh man, I love what I'm seeing from Seattle though. I wanna, but to me, I feel like Carolina wants to make another statement. So I'm gonna take the Panthers. The Panthers could win the division if they win this game, by the way, and Tampa loses. Arizona at Cincinnati. We'll start off with Jake here.
Cincinnati. I don't know who's covering Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Go ahead, Matthias.
Cincinnati, no defense has played this game.
I'm taking Cincinnati. Everyone's forgotten the Cardinals exist at this point.
53.5 over under. That's a good call, Matthias.
The Cardinals are consistently doing nothing, and I think Jonathan Gannon is not going to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals after the next couple weeks because they.
What if he won a playoff game? Could he keep his job?
Well, he's not going to the playoffs.
He's consistent.
Arizona's a mess, and they've been a mess for a while.
Yeah, but it's consistently
bad. They're consistently bad. They're consistent.
All right, we gotta stop.
Pittsburgh at Cleveland. The Steelers struggle in Cleveland the last few years, even when the Browns are bad. So this could be interesting. Resident Steeler fan goes first.
I got Pittsburgh, and my sentence is the last time the Steelers have swept the series was 2023. It
was 2021, actually. Go ahead, Jake.
I'm taking the Browns because Emily told me to. So if I lose this week, it's her fault. Here.
I want to see Miles get the sack record really bad against the Steelers. I'm going to take the Browns. You know what? The Browns are probably not going to just have 3 wins. I see them having at least 4 this year. Divisional games are weird. That's my sentence. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers win. Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Jake, you are a Colts fan as well as a Browns fan, so I'll let you pick between.
Yeah, unfortunately. Jacksonville by 2 touchdowns.
All right, Matthias, go ahead.
Um, Jacksonville by a game-winning field goal.
I'm
I'd
also
like
going to
that
take the
more.
Jags. Trevor Lawrence has arrived. That's my sentence. All right. Tampa Bay at Miami. Let's go with Jake.
Um, I'm not picking Quinn Ewers, so give me Tampa. I don't have my Baker Cup in here anymore. I was gonna.
Okay, go ahead, Matthias.
Um, I I'm choosing Tampa Bay, and my sentence is I've given up on Baker this season.
But you're still taking the Bucks.
Yes.
All right.
The
I'm taking
Saints.
Miami.
Yep.
I am taking Miami. My sentence is while it's Quinn Ewers, the Bucks are collapsing, and I don't think there's going to be any getting better from this. So I am going to take the Dolphins to beat Tampa Bay at home. All right, New England and the New York Jets. Everybody, why are you picking New England? Jake, start off. Why are you picking New England, Jake?
Because Drake May is gonna finish runner up in the MVP this year, so shout out to him.
Matthias, why are you picking New England?
Um, because they're trying to get the number one seed.
I'm picking New England because the Jets stink. The Jets were terrible against the Saints last week. I almost said the Panthers, the Saints.
The Saints were good.
The Saints have been playing competitive ball. I'll give them credit there. But yeah, no, the Jets stink. They need to get a turnover at some point. It's certainly not going to happen against the Patriots. Might happen against the Bills. I don't know. New
They have
Orleans.
2 games to get an interception, or they're gonna end the season with 0. That's really ridiculous to
When's
think
the
about.
last time that's happened?
I don't think ever.
I don't think it's ever happened. Even the 0-16 Lions and Browns have had interceptions.
They played the Browns this year and they didn't get a pick. So that's like really concerning.
Well, also Dylan Gabriel only turned the ball over against the Patriots, and everyone forgot that. So, moving on to New Orleans and Tennessee.
That doesn't change anything.
Matthias, you could start things off.
This is a tough one.
Saints or Titans?
Um, I have the Saints. The Titans just need the draft pick more.
All right, Jake, go ahead.
In Shuck, we trust. Give me the Saints.
I'm also going to take the Saints. I like
That's
what I've
good.
seen from the Titans.
Congratulations, Titans.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with Matthias on they do need another pick more. All right, who's ready for it? Who is ready for the game of the week? New York Giants, Las Vegas Raiders. The two teams I said I will never pick again. I got to pick one of them.
That's not true. You could pick a tie.
I'm not picking a tie. I'm not picking a tie, Jake. Because you said that, you go first.
Can I pick him to tie? No, I'm just kidding.
You want to pick him to tie? You can pick him to tie.
Is Jackson Dart playing?
Let me check.
Does it matter?
Dart is
He played terrible last week though. I'm gonna take the Giants. It doesn't matter.
I can't see. All right, you're taking the Giants?
Because Jackson Dart is the best, will be the best player on the field when the Giants offense is on the field, except for Max Crosby, and that won't matter. So Dart versus Crosby, give me Dart. That didn't make any sense.
Well, I'd say Crosby, but Matthias, go ahead.
Crosby's the best player on the field, but Jackson Dart is better than anything else the Raiders have besides Max Crosby.
As the Raw takes
the entire roster
in the background there. All right. Matthias, go ahead. Your turn.
All right. I have the Raiders, and my sentence is this is the one game for the Raiders where everything falls into place and they reach their potential.
And they lose out on the number one pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm taking the Giants just because I don't trust anything Pete Carroll and Geno Smith have given us this year. But I don't even know if Geno Smith will be playing. It might be Kenny Pickett, right? The Raiders are awful. They're truly just terrible. I mean, I have, but so are the Giants. But the Giants have been competitive in games for the most part. Outside of like the game against New England, the Raiders have not really been competitive at all. All right, Philly and Buffalo. Uh, let's go with Matthias here because he's a big fan of the Bills, right?
Um, I've got I've got the Bills. They need to keep up their momentum more.
Jake, go ahead.
My sentence is that I really don't like Buffalo Bills fans, and I hope they lose, but I'm taking Buffalo.
I am taking Buffalo because Philadelphia is already in pretty good shape. All
Okay.
right, next up is Chicago and San Francisco. This game might be interesting.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Oh yeah, we'll see. Jake, go ahead.
It's in San Francisco, right?
It is in San Francisco.
I think I'm gonna take
Or
San
Chicago
Francisco.
Bears. But it's your
Huh?
Chicago Bears.
I know. I can't because here's the deal. I think San Francisco is really good, and I think their defense might have an edge against Caleb.
All right, go ahead.
Bears don't hate me.
Tyus.
Um, I have San Francisco. No, I have Chicago, and my sentence is this is more of a prove it game to San Francisco than it is for the Bears.
I'm taking San Francisco because I just think they're better than the Bears.
You tried to
I
egg
don't
me
think
on to
we're
take the Bears so you could take San Francisco. That's
because if
fine.
I'm right, then I'm the only one that picked it.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. I
No,
get
I'm
it.
just kidding. I'm kidding. But anyway, San Francisco for me. I just trust them more than Chicago overall. But anyone's game. It's the NFL any given Sunday. All right. Last but not least, a game we don't have to talk about too much. The Rams and the Falcons. And that game already bores me just by the two teams that are playing in it. Even though I love the Rams, but sorry, they're playing the Falcons. There's nothing interesting here for me. All right, why are we taking the Rams this week, gentlemen? Let's just get right to the nitty gritty.
You can go first, Matthias.
Okay. Um, yeah, I have the Rams because this is a tune-up game for the playoffs.
Go ahead, Jake.
They're playing Western Michigan to get ready to play Big Ten play. Let me take the Rams. I don't really think I can top that, so give me the Rams. Kirko Chains is my sentence. He's going to play well, but not good enough.
All righty, and for me, I am taking the Rams because the Falcons just stink, and I don't see them beating the Rams. So that's my prediction there. But any given Sunday or Monday in this case, 'cause that's the Monday game, and that's one sentence, one pick once again. Let's take a look here at our picks. There you go. There you have it.
56 minutes and 40 seconds, people. The over has cashed.
Well, when the video is edited, it might not be exactly that.
We might not get there. We had a side bet before on how long our short episode was going to go. And not that it's a negative because we're having fun, but I just had a feeling we weren't going to actually go short because we just like to talk to each other. And then when Andrew said we were doing the coaching argument, I knew we weren't going to make it because I knew he was going to argue against me because that's typically how it goes.
Well, there was our picks just now that you saw. Who's going to win? I'm gaining on Jake, and Matthias is still in last place.
There are a lot of differences this week.
There's a lot of pairs.
This is going to be a big week.
This is
A
a big
lot's
week.
going to happen.
I took Washington. I might regret it on.
All right, NFL.
Yeah, I regretted it
writers.
almost immediately last week.
But, however, I will say the Dallas Cowboys, they're not going anywhere either. So
They have a much better chance to beat the Cowboys than they did to beat the Eagles last week, and I'm just an idiot.
let's go, Commanders. All right. Moving on to college football. Let's talk a little bit about some of the games that took place really quickly. We're not going to spend too much time.
Shout out John Carroll.
Yes,
Played
shout out to John
valiantly
Carroll.
against North Central. Didn't win, but it was closer than I thought. So good for John Carroll. First college football point.
Talking about the games this week overall, James Madison did score 34 points. I'll say they did belong. Tulane didn't belong. I'm sorry. And it's really hard in college football to beat a team twice. So I want to give, Oklahoma some slack there, but at the same time, you're up 17-0. How do you blow it to Alabama? How do you let that happen? Come on, Fernando
John Harbaugh lets it
Mendoza.
happen once
Get
every
it done
month.
against
Almost
Alabama.
like it's a consistent. There's an issue going on.
Sounds like
Alabama's the
maybe we need
one
to fire the
team.
coach.
Alabama's the one team I personally think really didn't belong in the college football playoff. And Oklahoma
Alabama's
let them belong in the college football.
I honestly agree with you. It kind
I
of
agree.
made me really mad that Alabama won because we're setting this precedent that teams with 3 losses who aren't good are going to make it because Oklahoma couldn't move the ball if you gave them 1st and 5 every time.
Yeah, it was bad.
And they had a
So
17
annoying.
nothing lead.
After they went up 17, they just decided to stop playing football. It was amazing.
They thought they won. They thought they
You know,
won. So I'm
can't
frustrated
get your
by
foot off
that
the gas.
overall with all the games this weekend. But the good news is Alabama is going to have to take on Indiana. And I think the Hoosiers are light years ahead
They're gonna
of
smoke.
the tide. If
In a perfect
Alabama
world,
wins that game, I am going to be crying. And all
Congrats, Alabama fans, for your upset.
no, I mean, Indiana is much better than them, but I don't know. I have this weird feeling about Alabama next week. I have this weird feeling,
And you
this
know what?
weird
It's
voodoo
just the
magic.
precedent. Alabama does not belong in the college football playoff. We all know it. They shouldn't have made it, but they made it anyway. And then they proved a case as to why they belong against Oklahoma.
Maybe the
Oklahoma
committee knows more than
couldn't
we
shut them
know.
down. Well, you
Yeah.
know what? The committee, a lot of us think the committee is always wrong, including myself. Indiana needs to beat Alabama. I'm sorry. Indiana, you got to beat Alabama. Please beat Alabama. Please. They did not belong in this tournament. They came into the tournament anyway because of the committee bias. Beat Alabama. Please. Like, there's not a game on the bracket more that I want to see than Indiana beat Alabama at this point. I mean, obviously, Ohio State
I
beating
was
Miami.
gonna say Ohio
Yeah,
State's literally
obviously,
playing.
obviously. But honestly, like Alabama did not belong in this tournament, so I'm going to just stress how frustrated I am that Alabama is now in the second round. All right, the floor is yours, gentlemen.
Well, you didn't leave us very much time.
Okay,
I actually don't have much to say about the college football playoff. I want to give some shout outs to some lower level
yeah,
games that I
go ahead.
watched. Johns Hopkins and University of Wisconsin River Falls D3 semifinals. One of the best football games I watched this weekend. It was 41-41 in the third quarter. Teams were going shot for shot. UW River Falls had a wide receiver go for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he was fun to watch. Um, the moral of the story here is just watch football. There's great games at every level. We on this podcast love D3 football. We've watched it for a while. We've called D3 football games. I had a lot of fun watching that one. Illinois State is on the Cinderella run of all Cinderella runs. Illinois State is in the FCS playoffs. They're basically like when St. Peter's made the Elite Eight and the NCAA tournament when they were like a 15 seed. They should not be in the championship game, and they are. So shout out to them in the FCS. And Ferris State continues their dominance at the D2 level. So I want to give those teams some credit. They deserve it. They're playing good football. Ferris State's like the most dominant. They're like the Mount Union of D2 football, except they're even better. It's amazing. So go football.
Alrighty, Matthias, anything?
No, I don't have much. I was just going to look at Ohio State's next opponent, which will be Miami. Miami just got done upsetting A&M, and that was a 10-3 score. And
Riveting.
yeah, I was going to say mostly for Ohio State, they are 1-1 in one-score games. So they need to
That's
turn.
ridiculous.
Yeah, they need to put up points quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't want to have a trench war against Miami.
I would 100% agree with you on that. And, because I was so frustrated with the whole Alabama thing, I did not mention Miami taking down Texas. And that was a good defensive battle, and Miami certainly earned that victory. And it is just wonderful to watch SEC teams lose. I'm sorry. I just love it.
I
I
agree.
love it. Even
I
when
agree.
Oklahoma still lost, and even though I like Oklahoma better than Alabama, an SEC team still lost against
Oklahoma doesn't, they're not an SEC team yet in my brain
what they
because
are.
they're still in the Big 12 in my head. You know what I mean? But like no, I know they are, but like they're not.
All
Because they were
right.
in the Big 12 like 3 years ago.
Well, we'll see how everything plays out. Obviously, the bracket is going to get even more interesting in the second round, and we'll talk a little bit about those games next week on the show. But now we got to go quickly on the Cavs, and I'll leave the floor open to Matthias to talk about the Christmas games as well.
Okay, so just for
And I'll give
I'm
you
gonna
3 minutes
Cavs
here.
suck.
yeah, I'm gonna make this
Yeah, that's true.
segment just a bit longer to talk about the rest of the NBA as well. One other quick thing, we couldn't talk about last week because there was no pod, but the congrats to the Knicks for winning, and congrats to the Spurs because statistics say if you're a runner-up in the NBA Cup, you're most likely going to the finals. Um,
Really good point. A really good conversation that we had last week that is gone forever about that. Um, so I'm glad you brought it back up because I really enjoyed that conversation.
yeah, but also along with that, alongside the NBA, the Rockets are kind of doing the Steelers impression where they are just holding every team to close games. In the past 4 games, they have had 3 overtime losses and a win against the Nuggets. And one of their overtime losses was against the Kings. For perspective, we also saw a 152-150 game. The
In
Chicago,
regulation.
yeah, in
In
regulation.
regulation.
Yeah, Chicago put up 152, which was not the team I was expecting. Um, to kind of blaze through other things, the Thunder look human. They lost to the Spurs in the Cup, and then in the regular season, Ant-Man just decided to go nuclear. And yeah,
Ant-Man. Have you seen that commercial yet?
oh my gosh, I wish I didn't.
I saw it today for the
I miss the
first
Sprite
time.
Cranberry commercials with LeBron, but
Yeah,
whatever.
how did we go from LeBron to Ant? No offense to Anthony
No
Edwards,
offense to
but
Ant-Man.
I liked the LeBron ones.
But yeah, so finally moving on to today, as some of the games are wrapping up, the Cavs. When I talked about them last time, I said that this is a very crucial stint for them because their opponents aren't good. They responded by losing 3 of the 4 games, and they won today by 7, even though they were up 110-95 at one point. So just extremely disappointed in them. Um, yeah, I have no words for the Cavs anymore. I think at this point it's got to be.
I have a
Yeah, go
sidebar.
ahead.
Do you like the orange jerseys? Yes or no? Because I think I'm out. Think I'm
I'm out
out.
too.
Okay. I like the blue ones a lot better.
I was
I
going
like
to
the
say
blue
the
ones.
creamsicle jerseys are all right, but the Metro Parks blue jerseys, I was so mad I didn't buy one. But yeah, um, I think they need to shake something up. Whether
Burn
that
the orange jerseys and sacrifice them to the basketball gods.
that too. But whether it be maybe a coaching change, I don't actually know. I don't think Kenny Atkinson yet. Maybe another season of this, then we will see something. But Kenny Atkinson, I just think that he needs a bit more time with this group, and then we'll start talking. Um, but honestly, at this point, I'm calling other teams. I'm like, hey, Garland isn't producing as much as I want. Neither is Evan Mobley. Not Evan Mobley, but what do you want for Jared
Jared
Allen and
Allen.
Garland? And I would just start calling teams. So yeah,
If
thought
Jared Allen is a Cav after the trade deadline, I would A, be surprised, and I'd B, be a little bit, if current trends continue, I'd be a little bit disappointed.
yeah,
Disappointed and surprised because something, if the current, like I said, if we're rack off 11 in a row and everything's fine, then who cares? But if this current trend continues, you got to switch it up. Trade Jared Allen for something.
Also,
yeah,
there's a
like
bunch of NBA games on Christmas Day, but we'll actually review those on the next pod instead.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll get that. We'll
yeah,
just
along with the football
review
games. That
them.
way,
Yeah.
yep, that way we're all set there. But that's going to be it for today's edition of Raw Takes and Co. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas from all of us. I'm sure you guys would say the same thing.
please watch NBA on Christmas.
Yes, watch the NBA over the NFL because the NFL games, honestly, they don't look very impressive. So you're probably better off watching the NBA. But before we go
Go
to
Rockets.
couple comments. I love
Not
DK Metcalf.
my
Talked about
guy.
the NBA Cup. We did that for him. And Anthony J. Hody, my dad. Great show on the last edition of.
Thanks, Mr. Hody.
Thank
It's
you.
funny because guess what? That was the show that I was actually off the week.
I remember we talked about that before.
We sure did.
Thanks
So,
again.
Dad, thank you for supporting the podcast. Love you very
Hey.
much. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everybody watching Raw Takes.
Hope you like this episode too, Mr. Hody, even though I
Guys, please
introduced
like this one even more.
Right.
All right, love you, Dad. All right. Hey, Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hope everyone has a great holiday season. We will be back with you next week before the new year to wrap up 2025 and talk about some sports to wrap up the year. So, for Matthias Andhar, Jake Valencia, Commander Hody signing off. Have a good one, everybody.